Well, looks like it seems Truck-kun got you. That's pretty common around here. You're not from Japan, are you? No? That's bloody rare. Anyway, well, sorry mate, but Truck-kun got you and I'm afraid you're dead. Now, there's a couple of options. Now, you can go up to heaven. Maybe. Well, I'll let the man upstairs judge you on that one. You can go straight down below. I mean, no questions asked, but I imagine you probably don't want to end up down there. However, since this is the Isekai hotline, we have an Isekai option ready for you. That is correct, my friend. Now, we've only got one spare option on the table at the moment. Most of the generic fantasy worlds and alternate universes and parallel dimensions have kind of been taken up. However, we do have one option here for you now. Alright, so this parallel universe is pretty much similar to our own. There's humanity around, but it's a little bit of blended with fantasy. So there's, space, well, elves, let's be honest. I know they call themselves something fancy, but they're pissy elves, and you've got elves and orcs and magic and all that sort of stuff. But it's still got humanity, so, I'm sure you'll fit in fine, being a human. It's the 42nd millennium, and the Isekai option we have for you today is to be reincarnated into the body of a Space Marine. Yeah, I know, sounds pretty awesome and fancy, doesn't it? Now, Space Marines are genetically engineered superhumans. You have, extra heart, extra set of lungs, you're practically bulletproof, you can breathe in, any sort of environment. You're the most badass warriors out there. It's a pretty good gig, I'll be honest. Unfortunately, due to a few sort of mismatches here, we're going to have to reincarnate you into one of the Traitor Legions. There's not too many options for reincarnation on the table on the Loyalist side. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Loyalists, traitors, what are you talking about? It's not important. Just, we're going to be reincarnating you into the bad guy side. Think Overlord or something like that. I'm sure you've watched anime. You're here, aren't you? Of course you've watched bloody anime. In fact, looking at your file, it seems you've watched more hentai than anime. But, we don't judge here in the afterlife. We leave that for the man upstairs. So, anyway. So, let me talk you through one of the 9 exciting options you have to be reincarnated into as one of these new genetically engineered Space Marines. Alright, now, you're going to be reincarnated into the Eye of Terror. Ignore the name, it's just a placeholder. This is a area where, how should I describe it? Magic and reality and another dimension of kind of fused together. Time doesn't affect you there, so, you'll live forever. You're not going to be affected by time, so that's pretty awesome. Looking good. But, a few things happen there. There's some worlds that are made entirely out of blood, and a few worlds that are made entirely out of bones, and there's demons that'll eat your face. But don't read the fine print, So, you'll be reincarnated into the body of a brand new Space Marine in one of 9 Space Marine Legions. Alright, let me talk you through your options for reincarnation. Now, the first option we've got on the table here, they're called the Alpha Legion. Now, these guys are infiltration, assassination, and special forces guys. You like special forces guys like SEAL Team 6, that sort of thing. You know how it goes. There is a couple of little requirements about this one we should tell you about. It's not entirely sure who you're working for at any given time. You could be working for the good guys, the bad guys, nobody, both sides. You could be a double or triple agent. No one's going to tell you exactly whose side you're on, or give you proper orders, or give you proper guidelines. You're just supposed to sort of obey orders and, and try not to think about how convoluted your life is now. The other little problem is you're going to have your face surgically altered to look like your commander, who may or may not be dead, or may or not be imprisoned by a evil robot. Again, we're not entirely sure, but just a bit of minor face surgery, and some assassinations, and some, identity confusion, but, she'll be right. The second option we have on the table, is to be reincarnated as a world eater. Now, this option is good for your outdoorsmen, sort of rough, tough sort of guys. I mean, high school football team people would love this role. So you probably won't, but you know, it'd be good to live out that sort of lifestyle. You'll be incredibly strong, incredibly tough. You'll get like a chainsaw sword or like a chainsaw axe. I mean, that's pretty metal. So you'll be, you know, doing a lot of outdoors physical activity stuff. There is a couple of downsides of this one. The first one is a little bit of a large one. We're going to have to cut open your brain and jam a bunch of nails in there. Now, these nails make it so the only time you'll ever feel pleasure is if you're killing people. It's a little bit crude, but, I mean, it's just one of the risks you have to take, really. And not too many people complain about it. Occasionally you have people trying to tear them out of their own skulls. But anyway, ignore the frying pan. Honestly, you lot are always so picky demanding questions. The other problem is you're going to have an unsatiable thirst for blood and to kill anyone around you. If you've worked in an office job, I'm sure you know how this feels. And the other downside of this is people are going to want to kill you on your own side, and you're going to want to kill everyone around you. But you'll be fine, I'm sure. If you choose this option, you won't have any regrets. At least not for long. The next option is, again, a little bit more simple. They're called the Iron Warriors. Now, these guys are pretty sane. These are real traditional, you know, super soldier warrior dudes. They've got, like, you know, iron-coloured armour and guns. They've got incredible discipline. I mean, if you ever wanted to join the army back in your mortal life, then these guys are the guys to go for. They bloody know what's going on. They're sort of good sorts. A couple of... it's not even worth mentioning, really. But you will be treated as cannon fodder, realistically, like any army. But you will be sent into minefields, into sieges, artillery barrages, basically nightmarish shitshow war zones, and you're basically just treated as a number with a gun. So, I mean, if you can, you know, get yourself promoted and up the ranks, it's a pretty good gig, but there is that expectation you're probably going to die before anyone really knows your name. But again, these guys are the most sane out of any option on the list here, and I think most people would choose this option, personally. Alright, not convinced? No, we've still got some more on the list. Alright, the next one on the list here. They're called Word Bearers. Were you religious at all in your previous life? No? Well, you're going to be pretty quick. Now, these guys, and to be fair, most of the guys on the list, I should have mentioned that earlier, worship some demon abomination false gods called Chaos. These guys in particular are pretty religiously fanatical about worshipping these demons, so I think you should probably get with the program. Atheists are not really welcome here in this sort of option, but these word bearers, they're pretty cohesive, switched on. You get a lot of support from demons, you can get sort of some demonic powers, or maybe like a buddy or a demonic familiar. I don't know, you could get that sort of option, that would be pretty good. Yeah, a few downsides. Your overall commander has not left his room in like 10,000 years, and the two people he left in charge, one is like a senile old man who's a bit of an asshole, and the other guy is literally, I mean, I think every single person in the galaxy would want to kill him, and he's the biggest asshole in the universe. That, and you are a bunch of sado religious fundamentalist types, so you're not really going to make too many friends in that one. I mean, not many people personally picked this option, but, you know, we put it out there anyway. This next option, you might like it, actually. If you, in your previous life, you watched a lot of, cultured anime, and you had a lot of time spent in incognito mode, then I recommend The Emperor's Children. Now, yes, that name may sound very cool and noble, but not quite. So, have you ever wanted to fuck a demon? Well, sure you have. Well, these are the guys to go for. Basically, anything goes with them, and I mean absolutely anything. So I hope you're into S&M, sodomy, bestiality, necrophilia, demonology, homosexuality, basically everything. As long as you're into giving it and receiving it simultaneously, then I'm sure these are the guys to go for. Aside from that, there is the slight problem that everyone else in this list hates you if you join these guys, and they're probably going to try and kill you on sight. But, I mean, you're probably going to be hopped up on enough drugs and demon prostitutes that really you're not going to care. You'll be surprised at how many people pick this option, by the way. A lot of them say that they'll never pick this option and, oh, that's not for them, but, man, the amount of people who pick this option is pretty high. A lot of bloody degenerates in the mortal world, huh? Maybe that's why a lot of you end up getting hit by trucks. Anyway. So it's them. That's them on the list. Now, in a similar sort of vein, but on a bit different, did you ever get bullied at high school? Oh, I'm sure you did. Well, would you ever want to be that bully? Well, if you did, and you really love petty displays of power, you're secretly sadistic, psychopathic, and all of these sort of icks out there in your human sort of psychology books, then may I recommend these guys. They're called the Night Lords. Now, these guys take the kind of special forces idea of those Alpha Legion guys I mentioned earlier, and make these guys psychopathic and psychotic and sadistic. So if you like skinning people alive and wearing their skin, or you like sneaking up behind people and literally scaring the shit out of them until they die, or things like that, then these guys are probably the people to join. And if you do, please stay away from me. Well, maybe not as much as if you join the Emperor's Children, but just stay away from me if you pick this option. Downsides, again, no one likes you at all. You're going to be doing a lot of backstabbing. Like, everyone in your company, in your squad, in your legion, everyone wants to kill you for whatever power they can get out of it. So, I recommend you have, like, armor on your back, and you always keep a knife on you at all times, just because some people are going to come up behind you and try and shiv you. Oh yeah, if you're a criminal as well, then this is definitely the sort of legion to join. A little bit scattered, a little bit sort of lawless, but I mean, rules are for normal people, aren't they? So, these are another option that you guys can join. Now, I'm guessing in your previous life you didn't really shower much. And if that's the case, then these guys are the guys to join. Now, I have to say, on the surface, these guys are great. Now, you become invulnerable and immune to all diseases. No, never being sick again. You're never going to tire, so I mean, you can play games till 24/7, and you won't have any problems with you. In fact, I'm sure you'd like that, you worthless gaming loser. But anyway, you'll become absolutely immune to all diseases, all fatigue. You'll also become immortal as well. Well, I mean, in terms of you'll never die of old age. So that's pretty awesome. Also, these guys, in terms of superhuman warriors, they're pretty organized and pretty switched on. Their commander's a bit more active than a lot of the others on this list here. They're a little bit more equipped in terms of weapons and equipment, and they do a lot more than many of the other guys on this list. So, I mean, if you want a stable, cushy life of never being sick or never dying, then these are the guys to go for. I guess I have to mention it. It's under the contract here. There is a slight downside of these guys. These guys are immune to all their diseases and every single disease because they currently possess every single disease. So you're currently infected with every single disease if you join these guys. Yes, that does mean you're going to have constant pus and buboes and maggots and all that shit. I mean, your flesh is pretty much necrotic all the time, but you don't have any nerve endings anymore, and you're never going to feel it. So, it's fine. You may have maggots crawling out of your body, or, like your blood and that may be turned into pus and sort of ease out of sores, but again, is that really such a hard price to pay to never be sick again? So yeah, maybe choose these guys if you want a more cushy gig out of life. Alright. Oh, that's right, there's still 2 more on the list here. Now these guys, they're called the Black Legion. Now they're pretty switched on, pretty organised, quite large. These guys are all-inclusive. I mean, they don't give a shit if you worship demons or you're an atheist. These guys are absolutely all-inclusive. They don't care either way. They're pretty good sorts in terms of that. They take, all sorts. They're quite active. I hear they've done 13 really large field trips out into the, galaxy. They're pretty strong, pretty on top. Couple of downsides. I mean, these are so petty, it's not even worth considering, really, but there's quite a bit of scheming and backstabbing between all of the various sub-factions inside your group, so while they're all-inclusive, and they'll accept you no matter what, they may try and kill you, or some people who are not quite as inclusive as the rest of them might kill you for your religious beliefs, or lack of beliefs, or just to get a head up over the competition for promotion. But, you expect that in this sort of type of work. I mean, being a genetically engineered Space Marine super soldier isn't a day in the park, The other downside is your commander is, let's be honest, he's kind of an armless, worthless failure, and everyone talks shit about him behind his back, and you'll start out really admiring him and respecting him, but eventually you're going to start joining in on the bitching sessions. Just be careful that he doesn't overhear you while you do so. So yeah, Black Legion, they're pretty much your vanilla genetically engineered evil super soldiers. That's fine. Final option on the list. Oh, there is a final option on this list. You're not gonna like it. Do you like being a pile of dust inside a suit of armor? Because that's the only option we've got here for these Thousand Sons. Now, normally, they would be pretty awesome. I mean, you get to be a magic-wielding sorcerer who can shoot lightning out of his arms and has, can fly using magic powers and has a gun. And, it sounds like a pretty awesome gig. Unfortunately, in terms of our Isekai options, none of those promotions are kind of there. So the only option we have in this particular legion is basically you're just a pile of dust and you sit inside a suit of armor. And someone puppets you around the place and makes you do things. Yeah, not the greatest option in the world, but I mean, if you don't want to think, isn't that one of the greatest problems of modern life is thinking? So if you join these guys, you never have to think again. So think of all the options. So there we have it. Those are the options on the table available for you for your Isekai reincarnation. Feel free to just jot it down in the comments below as to what one you'd like to join, and we'll get the paperwork sorted and get you all signed up. So, congratulations on dying and being hit by a truck, and congratulations on your exciting new opportunity for a brand new life. Have fun, you Isekai protagonist, you.